am Dr. Lisa, DPT, and today I'm going to walk you through a body weight strength training workout for runners. And one reason I'm so passionate about runner strength training is because it has so many positive effects on your running. So even if you've never strength trained before, I want you to follow along and just get the moves down, focus on your form, quality of movement. Now the layout is going to be a warm-up, then we'll move into a little bit stability work, and then we're going into the powerhouse muscles strength training, ending with plyometric. This is how I structure my Runners Complete program, which is 12 weeks of strength and mobility workouts geared towards runners. So to warm up, we're gonna start with some step unders. So you're gonna bring your foot out to the side, squat down on that stance leg, and you're gonna pretend like you're going under a hurdle. We'll do a couple here. I'll show you from the side. So you're really just focusing on getting low, warming up your hips, activating your glutes, warming up your ankles. Do a couple more. One more. Good. Now we're moving into step over. So now you're going to pretend like you're stepping over a hurdle. Big step over, big step over. This is a good hip opener. I love this one. One more. Good. And last exercise for warm up, we're going to do a squat to a heel raise. Okay? Squat, heel raise. Three more. Last one. Good. Moving on to our stability work. So stability work, think small muscles that are stabilizing, say the hip or the ankle. So we're going to start with some airplanes. What you're going to do, have one foot in stance leg, show you from the side. You're going to hinge back into, like, say, a single leg RDL. So hip hinge back, arms come out, and I'm going to start rotating to one side and back and come on up. Okay, so hip hinge back, arms come out like an airplane, opening up to that side where the leg is back, and come back to shoulders facing the ground and hip hinge up. Okay, we'll do a couple more on this side. Hip hinge, open, whoop, come back, and come up. If balance is an issue, just stay near a wall. Kind of have it nearby. You can always have a chair nearby as well. One more on this side. This is also, oh geez, bad balance. This is also good for ankle stability. So, and opening up your hips. Let's go to the other side here. My balance is not good today, and that is okay. Open, shoulders square, hips square, hinge back, hip hinge. Open your shoulders and your hips, come back and up. We'll do one more here. Back, up, and back. Good. All right, we're gonna drop down to a side plank. You can also do a modified side plank where your knee is on the ground and my elbow is on the ground as well. So from here, I'll show you in a modified position. You're gonna come up, lift that leg up, and down. 2, full plank position. 3, we'll do 10. 4, 5, 6. Make sure your toes are facing forward or even down. And that top leg stays in line with the bottom leg. 2 more. Good. Switch and do the other side. Again, you can stay in that modified position or do a full plank or full side plank here. 1. Keep breathing. Hip stability is really important in the stance phase of running. Luckily, this is like a double dipper, also focusing on core strength. I lost count. 2 more. Good. Awesome. All right, getting into more pelvic control, hip stability, and glute strength a little bit. We're gonna go into a bridge that's marching. So, laying on your back, knees bent, feet on the ground. What you're gonna do, hands are on your pelvis on each side, bridge up, so squeeze your glutes to bridge up. March one knee up, down, and come on down. Up, down, other leg marches and down. Keep going here, but what you want to focus on is not dropping one side of your pelvis as the knee comes up. Try to keep your hips are on your pelvis so you can feel if they're dropping. You really want to keep them in line. Pretend like you have a glass of hot water here and you don't want it to spill. If your pelvis is dropping too much, don't lift your knee up as far and really focus on squeezing your glutes to maintain that stability across your pelvis. Good. We'll do 3 more. Squeeze your glutes. Push that heel into the ground, squeeze your glutes. 2 more. This is a control exercise. No need to speed through it. Really focus on everything I just talked about to get the most out of this exercise. Good. All right. I'm going to jump into more of the strengthening part, so working on your powerhouse muscles, ones that you need to be strong in order to meet your running goals, not get injured, increase your speed, decrease your fatigue when you're running. So let's get into it. I'm going to start with just a lateral lunge. So one foot is planted into the ground, the other leg steps out. I'm going to lunge all the way down, sticking my hips back, and come up to a knee drive, okay? Lunge and up. So when I'm coming up to this knee drive, I'm pushing up. It's a little bit of a power move, pushing up so I can get into knee drive with one big push. There's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, good. And you really want to stick it when you bring that knee up. You don't want to be falling over. And 10. Moving to the other side. Lunge back, knee drive up. Good. Really stick that knee drive. Whoop. Don't lose your balance. Like me. You might be able to feel that one side of your hips can get lower, and that's very common. Just take note of it. I know this side I can get lower. 2 more. And 2, good. All right, that's a lateral lunge with the knee drive. Now I want to get into I'll show you from the side. You're gonna squat. One leg goes back into like a lunge, isometric lunge. Back to squat. Other leg comes back and stand up, okay? Squat down, tap that foot back, come back to squat, tap the other foot back, come back to squat and stand up. We'll do 10. So each time you tap your foot back, it's 1. And then stand up. The whole goal is to stay low. Up. Up. So I'm showing you one round of this entire circuit. Ideally, you want to do 3 to 4 rounds. So you can just rewind and repeat. Good, don't do what I'm doing. I'm getting tired, probably from jet lag more than anything, but I want you to keep your butt back, not bend your chest over. Getting sloppy, not good. Keep that chest up, keep that back neutral and flat. Good. Control that motion. Good. Couple more. Ah! So when you're doing this, when I mean keep your back flat, I can put my hand on it. I don't feel it curling or overarching. It feels very flat here. And up, we'll do 2 more. Doing about 10, but clearly I can't count, so about 10. All right, so that is a squat to lunge, lunge, come on up. Okay, so that's the second strength exercise. So now we're gonna get into a little bit more of that posterior chain work, including hamstrings. So what you're gonna do, you're gonna lay on your back, get into a bridge position. From here, I'm gonna bring one knee into my chest, and I'm gonna hold on the outside of that upper shin area. I'm gonna hold my leg in this position, and from here, I'm gonna push through my heel, squeeze my glute as I lift up and down. We'll do 10 each side. If this is too much, you can always modify by figure 4 crossing over and lifting, or going to a 2-legged bridge. But when you're ready, progress into single leg because you are stronger than you think. 2 more, about 10. Good. Other side, hugging the other knee, pushing up, squeeze your glute. If you need to put your hand on your glute to know if you're squeezing it, do it. You should feel it contract. Might be a little shaky. Feel my hamstrings shaking. So I know it's working. And again, I lost count. About 3 more. And 3, good. I love that exercise because it really helps to emphasize hip extension with that glute activation, which you need for running. So, like I said, modify with a regular 2-legged bridge, progress to a figure 4 where that leg is just kind of flopped over into that figure 4 position, and then you can progress into that knee hug for the single leg bridge. All right, speaking of glute activation and hamstring activation, we're gonna do good mornings. So this again, working on the hip hinge that is definitely needed for finding your ideal running form. So what I'm gonna do is cross my arms, slight bend in my knees, and from here, I'm gonna actually show you with my hands on my hips first. My first movement is my hips going back, okay? So flat back here, it's very neutral. My core is activated and I'm hip hinging back, keeping my back in that neutral posture. So with my arms crossed, I'm really lengthening my hamstrings. I can feel them lengthened and I'm coming up. You don't need to squeeze your glutes as you come up. Okay, so hip hinge back, nice, slow, controlled. I'm not bending my knees more as I go down and come all the way up so my knees are straight. So slight bend in your knees, hip hinge back. You'll feel it working in your hamstrings and your glutes. Another good posterior chain exercise. This would be good as a warm-up if you're deadlifting with weights. But we're doing body weight, so really focus on that control. You should feel the hamstrings lengthening when you go back. They should both have the same amount of stretch on them. If you feel it more on one side, try looking in the mirror and making sure your pelvis isn't rotated one way or the other way. You can look up if you need to. Okay, slight bend the entire time in your knees, hip hinge back. You need to be against a wall so you can feel your butt hitting the wall, knowing your hip hinging back as your first move. Okay. Couple more here. And like I said, go through this circuit 3 or 4 times, depending on how much time you have. 2 more. All right, as you can tell, this is really emphasized on legs, which I really didn't mean to do, but here we are. So now we're gonna go through 2 plyo moves. The first one is a pogo hop. Plyometrics is super important for runners to go through. Have strong calves, get used to strengthening your toes and pushing off with your toes, improve your cadence, improve your speed, improve your efficiency. I could go on and on about plyometrics, but we're gonna start with 2-legged plyometrics. So we'll do about 30 seconds pogo hops in place, which just means staying light on the balls of your feet, hopping up and down. All right, go ahead and join me here. Trying to stay light. I can hear myself. So I'm trying to stay light. And as you can see, I'm doing all this in barefoot. I really encourage you to try working out barefoot. I have barefoot shoes, but today I just chose to go barefoot because you really want your foot to feel the ground, which improves your balance, your proprioception. Now, if you were doing this in like your running shoes or just regular like training shoes, you're not gonna have as much, you're not gonna be required to have as much ankle or foot stability versus doing it barefoot. And stop. All right, and then the last plyometric we're gonna do are skater jumps. So working on that lateral movement. Okay, so my left leg is on the ground right now. My right leg is gonna bound out to the side. Jump, stick it, jump, stick it. I'm really focusing on first, making sure I have my balance, and then I'll start to push further and further laterally. All right, so go ahead and join me here. Jump. You can use your arms. I might stick it for a second. You can also speed it up as you get better. Focus on that knee, not caving in. The control, absorbing the shock as you jump. Should not be loud. Land with a soft knee. Get your balance and go. Couple more. 2 more. And good. Awesome. Okay, of course, I'm going to apply metrics and I'm out of breath, but that's okay. I want you going through this 2 to 4 more rounds. Rewind it, go back through it, and from there, you'll have yourself a really good solid body weight strength program. Now, if you want more body weight strength exercises, I'm going to link my Healthy Runners Crash Course below. You can get it. It includes a body weight strength workout that you can print, go through. As you progress and you start to challenge yourself, I want you to add some weight or resistance bands because that's how you're going to get stronger. I completely get starting with body weight. If you don't have the form, you don't feel 100% confident in your form, start with the body weight. It's no big deal, but as that gets easier, you need to progress it. And that's how you're gonna get stronger, by challenging yourself. Just make sure you have that form down and you feel confident, and then you're gonna challenge yourself.